of the report that Princess Anne talked to Chris Shipp, who is the royal editor for ITV and a contributor to Sunrise. Princess Anne has stepped in to deliver a word from Queen Elizabeth. It wasn't for Camilla the Queen either. Not at all, it was for Catherine. This little royal moment really shocked Queen Camilla, I can tell you that. Getting from being a commoner to a queen in waiting is no easy task. Things just got a lot more difficult when Queen Elizabeth's personal message was added to the mix. We're about to talk about how this shocking message could change everything. Remember to stay put and you'll know what's going on. Come with me. How Queen Elizabeth and Princess Anne are related. The relationship between Princess Anne and her mother, Queen Elizabeth II, has changed a lot over the years. They have grown closer and closer over the years. At first, you might wonder how they could ever get close when the Queen's royal tasks kept pulling her away. That being said, Anne has always had a special bond with her mother. Being the Queen's only daughter, Anne had a special bond with her mother that couldn't be broken, not even by royal tasks. Queen Elizabeth spent a lot of time on royal trips when they were young, but Anne didn't seem to mind too much. As she grew up, she knew that her mom had special duties that no one else had. Instead of anger, it seems like this made them respect each other. Also, don't forget that these two shared a lot. They were both very tough, and they both loved horses, being outside and working hard. If there was a hat for the royal who works the hardest, both Anne and the Queen would be in the running. Catherine just got a message from Queen Elizabeth II through Princess Anne. It's making a lot of noise in the royal family. What could this message be about? And why does Camilla feel this way about it? You'll want to stay until the end to find out everything important. The world could see how much they liked each other over time. It was one of the best times of her life when she won an Olympic medal and her mom, the Queen, gave it to her. That's exactly what happened when Princess Anne won a big horse race. Doesn't that seem like the most royal way to bond? Even though there were happy times, they were always there for each other when things got tough. They both went through the ups and downs of royal life together, like Anne's divorce and the chaos of the 1990s. This is just one example of how much they relied on each other. It wasn't just a king or queen ruling over a group of people. It was real, like any mother-daughter relationship that has been through a lot. Queen Elizabeth had a lot of faith in Anne even when she was older. She was at Balmoral with her mom during the last few minutes of her life and stayed by her side until the end. It felt like they had come full circle from the early days of the Queen's duty-bound absences to Anne being there for her at the end. They were more than just the same in spirit. People couldn't stop talking about how much they looked alike even while they were on a state visit. Over the years, their partnership had grown stronger and better. So when the Queen had to send a very important word, she did so through Princess Anne, her daughter, whom she trusted very much. Camilla is about to get a shock. Catherine just got a very important message from Queen Elizabeth II through Princess Anne. And it's making people talk. What kind of message could this be? Why does it surprise Camilla so much? The Queen's message, stay with us to find out what's really going on behind the palace walls. There's more to the reason Princess Anne was picked to deliver Queen Elizabeth's important message to Catherine than just the trust and closeness between mother and daughter. Take a look. Anyone would have been a good choice for Queen Elizabeth II to do this delicate job, right? She could have chosen anyone, but she chose Anne. Anne was the best person for this sensitive task because she had a long history of being discreet and loyal, and she knew all the rules of royal protocol inside and out. In the world of royalty, being able to handle sensitive issues with tact and grace is very important, and Anne is pretty much the Queen, no pun meant, of that. Anne had a unique view because she was the Queen's only daughter. She is well aware of the difficulties women in the royal family face, especially when they have to deal with public life while staying true to their own beliefs. It's easy to think how much knowledge Princess Anne has gained over the years. It makes sense that her mother would trust her to pass on her knowledge, especially to Catherine, who is becoming more important. Anne, who has been through and seen everything, is the perfect person to act as a bridge, with her own brand of tough devotion. Another part of the story is Anne's support for her brother, King Charles III. She is loyal to him, especially during this time of big change for the monarchy. This makes her more trustworthy as someone who will keep family affairs private and close. After all, the royal family has, to say the least, complicated family relationships. There is a thin line between upholding custom and dealing with the inevitable family fights that happen, but Anne manages to walk it. I find it amazing that she can keep her cool in the middle of everything. Let's not forget, though, that Princess Anne was probably chosen because she is very dedicated to public service and thinks the government should move forward. The royal family needs to change with the times, but Princess Anne has always known that they need to keep the things that make them so important to the people. She has seen directly how tradition and the need to change can sometimes clash. When Queen Elizabeth II was looking for someone to explain her vision for the future, that knowledge must have been very helpful. Who else could keep the future of the kingdom in mind while taking into account all those different points of view? Let's talk about the time now. Why did this message show up at that time? Could it be that the time right after Queen Elizabeth died was picked on purpose as the time to send the message? King Charles III is now king, and Catherine's place as the future queen consort is becoming clearer. The timing of the message makes it even more important. This wasn't just any advice that was being given. It was taking place at a time when the government was becoming very different. It makes you wonder what was in that message. What made it so important that it be sent right now? When you think about the bigger conversations that have been going on about the future of the monarchy, the timing is even more interesting. Catherine is taking on a bigger part, and the roles of other important family members are changing too. With all the changes going on, it's no surprise that people are guessing what this message means, and what that might mean for Catherine's place in the royal family. But one thing is for sure, this news has also made people think about the ties between royal families from different generations. It shows how difficult it is for them to keep up with the past while also changing to meet the needs of modern society. Why does that work in the same sport? I think it works in almost any sport you can think of. As time goes on, the balance of the monarchy will depend on the knowledge that is passed down from one generation to the next, like Queen Elizabeth II's message to Catherine. And as the Queen's trusted messenger, Princess Anne played a key part in making sure that the Queen's advice didn't get lost during this time of change, cracking the code in Queen Elizabeth's message to Catherine. Catherine got advice from Queen Elizabeth II through Princess Anne. It's possible that these pearls of wisdom will shape the future queen consort for years to come. Catherine has clearly been influenced by the late monarch's wisdom, calmness, and deep knowledge of royal life. She has probably not only learned from watching the Queen from afar, but she has also probably been able to take in that knowledge directly. This is especially true when it comes to public life and royal tasks, which can feel like an all-consuming duty. One of Queen Elizabeth's main points of advice probably had to do with family, which is something Catherine really cares about. No one knew better than the Queen how to balance her duties as head of the royal family with those of the country and the Commonwealth. Catherine has always made it clear that her family comes first, so she probably saw something in the Queen that spoke to her. The advice to keep that fine line between royal duties and family life must have hit home very strongly. It's been clear from the way Catherine has stuck to her family-first attitude, right? See how she's handled her maternity leaves. She made sure she had time to bond with her kids while also being ready to return to work when she was ready. That line was walked with such ease, it's hard not to see the Queen's hand in it. It's possible that the Queen also talked about the old royal saying, "Never complain, never explain." Catherine has taken on board this saying, which pretty much sums up how the British Queen deals with public scrutiny. The press is always trying to make things more interesting, but Catherine has stayed calm and collected, refusing to add to the trouble by giving reasons or making complaints. That's a rule that worked well for the Queen, and Catherine's ability to show the same level of caution and strength shows that she's learning from them. However, it's important to remember that Queen Elizabeth II's message probably also had some pretty clear plans for Catherine's future. People will be paying more attention to Catherine's life because she is going to be married to a future king. Since the Queen knew this better than anyone else, she probably gave advice on how to deal with the problems that come with being a royal. And she has to find that fine line between living in the public eye and giving her kids a sense of normalcy. It must be hard to raise young children and get them ready for life in the royal family at the same time. It wasn't easy at all. That is a big task, but Catherine is the only one who can handle it, especially since the Queen is likely to be behind her. Catherine's diary has been slowly filling up with more and more royal events as she went from being a normal woman to becoming queen consort. The Queen probably told them how important it was to take things slowly and steadily so that Catherine could get used to her new job without being rushed. Catherine has, after all, taken on more authority over the years without changing who she is. It's not likely an accident. It's likely proof of what the Queen has said about taking things slowly and staying true to herself while getting ready for the huge role of Queen Spouse. After that, there is the matter of ruling customs and beliefs. The Queen loved keeping those old customs alive, but she also knew how to bring the monarchy up to date when it was needed. Catherine is a beautiful example of that same mix between old and new. Look at her clothes as an example. A lot of people have noticed that she always looks classic and classy while also being useful and approachable. Catherine, like the Queen, wears those loud, bright colors that make her stand out while still keeping her sense of style. She's not just getting dressed for the pictures. As a public servant, she's dressed to be seen and known for what she does. This is a small but important way that she follows royal customs while still keeping things fresh and new. When we talk about public service, This was definitely another important part of Queen Elizabeth's message to Catherine. During the Queen's rule, she was always there for her people, and Catherine has clearly taken that to heart. It's clear that the advice Queen Elizabeth gave through Princess Anne was full of useful lessons for Catherine as she gets ready to take on her new job. It's possible that the Queen taught Catherine how to balance tradition and modernity, stay true to family values, and be a good citizen. She has learned these things very well. She is taking on her new job with poise and grace, just as the Queen would have wanted. After listening to the Queen, it's clear that she's well on her way to continuing the work of one of the most famous rulers in history. If we understand where Princess Catherine is coming from, we can fully respect how well she is following the royal advice and making it work for her. Let's find out. Princess Anne shows up with a message from Queen Elizabeth II to Catherine, just when you thought life in the palace couldn't get any more interesting, one that shocks Camilla to her core. What could the late Queen have said that is making so much noise? Stay tuned, because this word could change her life, from being a commoner to becoming a queen. Going from being a teenager to becoming a member of the British royal family is an amazing story. A lot of people dream of this story, but not many actually live it. If you think about it, it's a real-life fairy tale. Catherine wasn't born into a royal family or blue blood. She was born into a middle-class family in Berkshire, England. But life had other plans for her. As it turned out, that's exactly what happened when she met Prince William at St. Andrews in 2001. It was like they were stepping out of a romance book when their paths crossed. By 2003, they were dating. In fact, they lived together in a flat during their second year of college. Now we're in November 2010. Suddenly, Prince William gets down on one knee and asks her to marry him with Princess Diana's famous sapphire and diamond ring. Catherine's engagement and proposal were not only important events in her personal life, but also important events in the public eye, because they marked her official entry into the royal world. The wedding then happened, and wow, what a wedding it was. April 29, 2011, and it was at Westminster Abbey. Catherine's dress, which was made by Sarah Burton at Alexander McQueen, shocked everyone. It felt like I was seeing a fairy tale come to life. Every part and moment looked like it came straight from a tale. Catherine was given the title Duchess of Cambridge after the wedding. It was the start of a whole new path for her, one full of royal tasks, public appearances, and being watched closely. And Catherine was so calm about it all. From the start, she seemed to know that being a queen meant finding a balance between old and new. One thing that stands out is how she's been able to put her family first while also taking on her royal duties. Did you know that after each child was born, she made sure to take her full maternity leave? There's something magical about her that makes her both famous and a great mother. I mean, really, who doesn't admire that? But Catherine is more than just a pretty face that smiles for the cameras. Making a change is very important to her. A big part of her royal job has been focusing on how young children grow and learn. She opened the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood in 2021. Of course, that shows how much she wants to give kids the best start in life. One thing that really stands out about Catherine is that she can keep her cool even when things get too intense. Never complain, never explain is the unofficial motto of the Queen, and it seems to have worked out well for her. Catherine has always been a model of caution in a time when the media is always there and everyone has an opinion. There have been some rough spots, but Catherine showed a lot of strength by choosing to stay out of the public eye and think in private, even during that dark time. Catherine has become more important in the royal family over the years. She is now more than just Prince William's wife, she is becoming a queen consort. Kate is now the new Princess of Wales, a title with a very long past, since King Charles III is now king. Even though it's a big job, Catherine has taken it on with the same kindness and honor she's shown throughout her journey. Plus, she hasn't been working on this by herself. She has learned from Queen Elizabeth II herself. It's not a wonder that people have grown to love Catherine over the years. People love her because she is friendly, easy to talk to, and works hard at her job. She can connect with almost anyone, from a world leader to a normal person on the street. You can tell that she really cares, which is what makes her unique. Also, let's not forget how well she mixes royal customs with modern tastes. She's not just following the old rules, she's also giving her part a new, modern look. That's why she's become such an important part of the future of the royal family. The path hasn't always been smooth, but Catherine's strength shows through. It's never been hard for her to deal with hard things. She's been able to keep her personal life pretty quiet by raising her kids, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, away from the constant attention of the media. Her story is one of growth, hard work, and quiet strength, and she can be proud of it. She went from being a girl from a middle-class family in Berkshire to becoming the future Queen of England with ease. She has done this by balancing custom and modernity in a way that few others could. She's not just a sign of how the government is changing. Millions of people love her because she is real and easy to relate to. We don't know how she will keep moving people while staying true to herself as her journey goes on. Another person who has been through a lot is Queen Camilla, whose full name is Camilla Parker. Because she's been up against it from the beginning, Bowles's road to acceptance has been nothing short of amazing. Queen Camilla was a controversial figure for a long time, and her relationship with King Charles III, then Prince Charles, was always being talked about. It's safe to say that neither the people nor the royal family liked her very much. While things were going on, she and Charles stayed true to each other, even when public opinion seemed to threaten their happiness. Along the way, things got interesting, but it wasn't easy. At first, Queen Elizabeth II didn't like Queen Camilla very much, but she started to like her more. What do you think made her change her mind? Charles may have felt more stable after realizing that Queen Camilla was there for him, which is something the Queen would have liked. As their friendship got stronger, the Queen became more aware of how important Queen Camilla was in Charles's life. All of this built up to a big turning point in 2005, when Queen Elizabeth gave her official approval for them to get married. His was a huge event that changed not only the Queen's view on Queen Camilla, but also the view of the whole royal family. Queen Camilla could slowly become a part of royal life. It was like the walls had finally been opened. When the Queen's Silver Jubilee year came around, she surprised everyone by saying that she really wanted Queen Camilla to be called Queen Consort when Charles became king. This showed how much she cared about her. This changed everything. A few decades ago, no one could have dreamed this level of acceptance. It was clear that the royal family had decided it was time to move on, and Queen Camilla was now a strong part of that future. But there have been some hard parts to becoming Queen Consort. Queen Camilla, who is 76 years old now, has a lot of work to do that would wear out someone half her age. Let's be honest, at that age, most people are thinking about retirement, not taking on one of the hardest jobs in the world. In addition, Queen Camilla has been given even more responsibility since there have been health worries about King Charles III and Catherine, Princess of Wales. You'd think Charles would be fully ready for this job after all the years he has spent getting ready to be king. But even though she has done all of that, Queen Camilla has had to step in sometimes. She had to do that without having had as much time to learn and prepare as Charles did. It looks like a tough task, right? Queen Camilla has shown amazing strength in the face of these problems. She has always kept a steady, positive attitude and kept her mind on the task at hand, even when personal problems came up. She now has more responsibilities in public life than she did before. It has been a big change for her to go from helping others to sometimes being in charge. Even though it hasn't been easy, she's been very dedicated, which has made her new friends admire her. Queen Camilla has taken on causes that are very important to her in order to stay relevant and find a job that feels true to her. She has been a strong supporter of causes like preventing domestic violence, finding out about osteoporosis, and teaching people how to read and write. These aren't just projects for her to look good. People have a different view of her now because of these issues she cares deeply about. That she fought for these causes shows that she's more than just Charles' wife or Queen Consort. She's someone who cares about public service on her own. It's a move for business reasons, but it also feels very real. She had to win over more than just the people. She's been working behind the scenes to fix family problems, especially the one between Charles and Prince Harry. Who would have thought she'd be the one trying to work things out between this famously tense father and son? Queen Camilla has shown that she is an important member of the royal family by being there for Charles and listening to what he has to say. It is clear that she has worked hard to fit in, both with the family and with the world. She has definitely helped solidify her place as Queen Consort by working hard to keep things peaceful behind closed doors. Even though she has a lot on her plate, Queen Camilla hasn't forgotten about her personal life. Actually, she's been very careful to keep things normal even though she's a princess. She has kept Mill, her home in Wiltshire, which is a place for her to get away from the stress of royal life. With time, hard work, and some strategic thinking, Queen Camilla has gone from being the controversial other woman to a respected member of the royal family. She has shown that even the hardest jobs can be accepted. Camilla is shocked by the message from Queen Elizabeth II to Catherine about Princess Anne. So much talk about what the late Queen might have said behind closed castle doors. It's too important to miss the truth behind this important message. See the whole thing until the end to find out what will happen with the monarchy. Catherine, Princess of Wales, is in a very important role in the British royal family. There's no doubt that some of the weight of the future is on her shoulders. Many people think that the Queen would not be the same without Catherine's help, especially when you think about how far she's come since she was a girl from a middle-class family. She has a unique understanding of how to balance old royal customs with the needs of modern society thanks to her journey from being a commoner to becoming a future Queen Consort. I find it interesting that someone who wasn't born into power can have such a big impact on its future. Catherine has always been deliberate and thoughtful in how she does her job. She didn't just take on royal tasks without giving it a lot of thought from the start. She works hard for issues that are important to her, like promoting early childhood development and raising awareness about mental health. She doesn't just want you to show up at events for her. These missions are very close to her heart and show that she's not just acting like a princess, she's actually trying to make things better. Still, Catherine makes it look like it's not hard at all. She seems like a royal who could talk to you at your local coffee shop just as easily as she could go to a state dinner because she is relatable and down to earth. People see Catherine as a key player in modernizing the throne because she is close to the people. As younger people speak out about what they want from the royal family, Catherine seems to be the one who can bring together traditional and modern ideals. This is a sort of modernization in and of itself, showing that royals can care about both the past and the present. She is making the government feel like it is again a part of the people, not just an institution that can't be touched. But it's not all events in public and smiles for the cameras. Catherine's influence is likely to grow behind the scenes as she gets used to her new job. It will likely reach into the workings of the monarchy. She is, after all, being trained to become queen spouse one day. There is a fine line between keeping the customs that have made the royal family unique for hundreds of years and changing with the times. There are a lot of traditions that have very important meanings in the monarchy. They stand for continuity, security, and pride in one's country. In a world that is always changing, though, how much longer can these customs last? The British government has come a long way toward being more modern. One sign is that they are using social media more. This is a move to stay current, connect with younger people, and keep up with the times. But now comes the hard part. Which customs will continue and which will end? No one can say for sure, but Catherine, with her background and skill at balancing the two, is likely to play a big part in finding it out. In the end, keeping the monarchy's appeal is about more than just tweets and Instagram posts, right? Of course, with all this power comes public expectation, and Catherine is used to being looked at closely. Everything about her, from the clothes she wears to the way she raises her children, is being watched. She raised her children and was going to be queen someday, all while being watched by everyone. She had to always look elegant and poised. Catherine is expected to do well in every area, which is like walking a wire. While taking on more and more royal duties, she is supposed to stay true to herself. Finding the right mix between being approachable and upholding the monarchy's honor is hard, but Catherine has shown she can do it. For the British monarchy to do well in the 21st century, Catherine may need to be able to handle the demands that people have of her while still being true to herself. This is the end of the movie. Thanks for seeing. Like, comment, and follow if you like this video so you can see more. Click on the movie that comes up next to read more exciting stories.